Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's 2012 awards show. With me is Synyster Dreamer. How you doing?
Pretty good, and yourself?
I'm doing amazing. And Impressions. How you doing today?
I'm good. Back for more.
Yep. All right. So this is going to be our award show for the year. We will be giving awards to games that we think deserves them. There's a couple of categories, and then we're going to go into our bottom three and top three, and then give the Rule of Three Agrees on This Game 2012 award, which is the game we all agree was pretty good. Maybe not the best in our opinion, but it was pretty good. So with that, we will start with the newest franchise awards. This is going to one game because we all agreed on this one, and that is Dishonored. For those who don't know what Dishonored is, it's a new stealth first-person game. It's pretty awesome. JJ, any reason you wanted to put this on the list? Synyster?
For me, for me, Dishonored was one of those games that kind of actually stood out because the fact that how just the setting was, and the fact that you weren't just tied to one style of game. You can stealth the whole game, or you can just go out killing everybody, or mix it up with a little bit of stealth, a little bit of killing.
All right. Impressions?
Yeah, this game was sold to me as, it's like, oh, this is your type of game. It's a thinking game. So not just mindless shooting. You have that option, obviously, to go run and gun. But likewise, you have the option to try something creative, which is something I like to do in games. And if the engine supports that somehow, I take advantage of it. So.
Yeah, same here. It's just, I think it was the best new IP. It was fun. It was original. It was mixed a lot of different elements, and it did it really well. And therefore, it gets the new franchise award. On to the award that no game really wants, and that's the biggest disappointment of 2012 awards. For me, this goes to Mass Effect 3. While the game is good, I was severely disappointed in it. I thought it would be a lot better than it was. I only played one playthrough. I was expecting to do a bunch because of how I played 1 and 2. I couldn't get the effort to do it any more than 1. It just wasn't that as good as I was hoping it to be. Synyster.
My biggest disappointment was Counter-Strike Global Offensive. After seeing what they threw out for the game, saying, "Oh, this is what's going to go on. This is how it's going to be," it honestly can't compare anything to Counter-Strike 1.6 Condition Zero. It just they made the game more like basically like COD.
So you're saying it was globally offensive?
Bad jokes.
Okay.
And Impressions.
Biggest disappointment for me was Raccoon City, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Just because it was marketed as a 4-player co-op, which is something I really look forward to. I've yet to find. There are very few games that meet that criteria for me. As far as executing that gameplay very well, and Raccoon City seemed very promising. And when I played it, it was just it was horrible. I liked the story idea behind it, but they missed a couple things on execution.
All right, so with that, we now move on to our next award, which is the Exceeded Our Expectation Award. These are games that we thought would be kind of terrible to okay, but actually were really, really good. For me, this is Halo 4. I had zero hope for this game. I thought it was going to be another cash-in Halo game. It turned out to be one of my favorite games of this year. I thought it was really awesome. Synyster.
I have to agree with Halo 4 because of the fact that it just was a game that I'm like, okay, the series is going down the hole. Can they bring it up? And sure enough, they brought it over the top.
And Impressions.
For me, that would be PlayStation All-Stars. I don't want to say I had no expectations for it, but it just wasn't something that I was really looking forward to. It really had to be chatted up to me. And when I finally did get the finished version of the game, it was really enjoyable. I thought it was just going to be a repeat of something that was already done in the form of Super Smash Brothers. But they did make a good effort in differentiating themselves from that, and it became a really fun game to play with some of my friends.
All right, and with that, we move on to the game category of honorable mentions. These didn't make any of the list, but we felt deserved a shout out because we thought they were still really good. We'll start with myself, like last time. Mine's Sleeping Dogs. I hate open world games. Sleeping Dogs was actually pretty good. I liked it. It was a good new franchise. It did differentiate itself with its story a little bit, and I did enjoy it. Unlike Grand Theft Auto and those types of games, I thought it was good, but didn't make any of my list. But it's still worth a mention. Synyster.
My honorable mention is FTL, Faster Than Light. I actually like this game, even though the fact that it's like I can get annoyed with it playing it, but I still keep coming back, playing another round, playing another round.
And impressions.
My honorable mention will be Unfinished Swan. Really fun game. Basically, I feel it deserves an honorable mention as far as originality. There's so many games out there in the market that it's very rare that you find something with a completely fresh and original to play, and I felt Unfinished Swan really brought that to the table.
All right.
So if you haven't played that, give it a shot.
And now for our top three awards for 2012. These are the games that, if it's on the bottom three list, we thought it was terrible. If it's on the top three, we thought it was probably one of the better games of this year. And we're going to start with the third worst game in our opinion. For me, that was Ninja Gaiden 3. It was bad. It was too easy. It did not feel like Ninja Gaiden. None of the mechanics worked really that well, and I was really disappointed in it. I mean, I was looking forward to it, and it just kind of fell through for me.
That really is surprising for me. Was it made by the same company and everything?
Yeah, exact same team. I don't know what they were trying to do, but they should not do that again. Ever. With that, we'll move to Synyster.
My bottom third is Medal of Honor. It's in a line of games that it was going downhill, and they just kept trying to pull it out, but it just kept digging their own grave.
Yeah.
As far as that franchise is concerned, I think that's like their second flop in a row. I think the one before that wasn't that great either.
Uh-huh.
And if anything, I think that they always make an association with Battlefield. They try to get this and you get our beta, or it's the only thing they have going for them.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that later. Which, spoiler, that comes up later on my list. And then we'll go to impressions.
Oh, my third place, I guess that means it's the best of the worst, would be Starhawk. I put it at this position because, like I said, it's not the worst game that I played out there. And I do appreciate the effort that it made as far as introducing something new, especially when you're dropping platforms, dropping walls, dropping turrets. It is a new mechanic, and I just feel it could have been executed a little bit better, especially with online play. It just seemed a little bit. It seemed too reliant on multiplayer, and a lot of reviews will say that a good game should be able to stand alone on its own, and Starhawk just couldn't do that. Any thoughts, anyone?
Never played the game, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I didn't play it, but it was on my list of games I wanted to play because, yeah, I did like the idea of, having to call in and drop things. And it was on my games that I wanted to play list, and then I started hearing a lot of negative things about it. I'm like, maybe I should back off. But it was one of those games that I was kind of disappointed in because I did want to play it at one point. So it's a shame to, at least hear that it's on your bottom list. So with that, we now move on to the second worst game of the year. For me, that was Resident Evil Raccoon City. It was bad. Nothing worked. It would have been on my, biggest disappointment game of the year, but I didn't have high expectations for it to begin with. It just was lower than what I expected anyway. But the multiplayer was terrible. The enemy AI was dumb. The fact that it was in the Resident Evil universe, I didn't think it fit really that well into it because they're like, oh, you'll be able to kill Leon and mess with other characters from the Resident Evil universe. That really ended up being a hunk for half a level. Mr. T, Nemesis, both boss fights which were bad, and Leon and Claire. Leon being the character like, oh, you can kill Leon, and when I tried to kill him, that was the worst fight I've ever done because it was so brokenly unbalanced. The fact that Leon could pretty much almost one-shot me on normal
Come on, it's Leon. Come on.
Still, I mean, when you're doing the defend Leon, I mean, that's just kill the other two, and that was a joke. That was just, oh, break your neck, I win. Whereas if you had to kill Leon, I mean, I had to go through, I think, 4 grenade launchers and all my weapons ammo just to kill him. It was not worth it.
I'm gonna go ahead and chime in then, because that's in the, as far as bottom 3, that's on the same slot as yours, Raccoon City. I placed it there because I too had high expectations for the game, and because it was marketed as third-person 4-player co-op, which is a format I personally would like to see done right. And I thought Raccoon City being set in the Resident Evil universe, having a very interesting class system as far as what they can do and interact with the zombies, and it just fell short. I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be amazing. I thought I was going to get all my friends to buy it, and we're going to have a good time killing zombies together, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember you trying to get me to buy it. No. Yeah. Good thing I didn't do that.
Yep, good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
No gotcha there.
No. Okay, so
Synyster bottom.
My bottom second one is Black Ops 2. Because honestly, for me, that game and series just never caught my interest, because the fact that, honestly, I don't like playing most of my game in flashbacks, and especially with Black Ops 2, the campaign was play a mission in the future, play a mission in the past, future, past, and then they added just new mechanics to the game that just like, okay, done. The only thing they had for it was zombies, but even that was still kind of like, eh.
See, while Call of Duty was kind of repeat, I don't know. I mean, I just felt it was more of an expansion pack. I mean, it wasn't, I don't know. For me, it wasn't that bad of a game, but I can see where you're coming from. I did like the futuristic levels. I didn't like the past levels, so it would have been cool to cut the past out. But, I felt it was one of the stronger Call of Duty storyline games anyway, even though...
How far in the past are we talking here?
Vietnam, I think.
It's after, basically, if you've played Black Ops 1, it was after the whole Vietnam Cold War era, and then you're starting into the basically, okay, everything's settling down, but there's still things going on. It's 1980, mid-80s.
Something like that for the past. I mean, it's not terribly in the past, but the future levels are a lot better. But I don't know, okay. Like I said, I would disagree with that, but that's why it's your list. So with that, we now go to the Worst Game of the Year award. For me, that was Medal of Honor Warfighter. I could go on and on about everything that's bad about this game. Nothing worked. It was glitchy. There were bugs everywhere. I rage quit so many times that I never want to see this game again. And I rarely rage quit. The only other games I've rage quit on are Dark Souls and Demon Souls. But I like rage quitting at that game because that's why I bought it for.
That's why they did it. That's the whole point of those two games.
Yes, that's why I bought it. Those are the only games I've ever rage quit at.
And isn't that like the second consecutive failure Medal of Honor's had?
Yes.
Wait, I said that already.
Very
I'm
much.
sorry. Yeah, that was Synyster's.
But yeah, no, nothing worked in it. It was nothing redeemable about it, other than maybe multiplayer. But even then, I don't think that redeemed anything.
And exclusive access to the Battlefield 4 beta.
Why was it with that game?
I feel bad for the association almost.
I feel bad for any association with this one. I don't care what the association is. If you have Medal of Honor Warfighter somewhere, I will hate you. Synyster.
My worst game is Zero Escape, because honestly, it's probably because of the fact that I'm not much of a puzzle player for games. Because I like Tetris and that's about it. I really just sat there playing the game and was confused. So it's like, okay, we got a lot of story, okay, puzzle, back to story, okay, scratch.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the point of the game. Like, if you read the reviews for this one, I completely disagree with Synyster on this one, but it's if the game is 95% story, 5% puzzles. So if you're not in a story, you will hate, like I said, you will hate this game, but like I said, I loved it. I did like the puzzles, and the story is confusing up to a point. You do have to kind of play a lot into it in order to flesh it out. Did you have anything on it, impressions?
Um, which game? I'm sorry.
Zero Escape.
I didn't play that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Okay, so there you have it. That is the worst game of the year in our opinion awards. So now we move on to the.
Hey, got me. Forgot about me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Impressions. Sorry about that. I thought we mentioned yours already. Impressions.
All right. Worst game of the year for me. Bear in mind that I play a very small pool of games, and this is already a well-established franchise. That said, it should be doing better. That would be Tekken Tag Tournament Tag Team 2, one of the games we reviewed earlier this year. And it's just the worst for me because it brought absolutely nothing new to the table. It was Tekken done again with better graphics. If anything, that was the only improvement in it because it was on the PS3. But the gameplay is the same, the roster is the same, plus, maybe 5 more people. And yeah, really nothing good to say about this game. So, sorry Tekken, but that's where I'm putting it.
Yeah, Tekken's always been like, okay, here's a new game. Well, what's new?
Yeah, once again, there were better fighters on the market than Tekken Tag Tournament 2, but like I said, it was okay. I did rage a couple of times in that, but never to the point of quitting. And that was just against the last boss, but that's the last boss, so.
Just play PlayStation All Stars, you get more variety, and you get to use Heihachi.
Yeah, there you go. Better go play an older Tekken game. So with that, we are now really moving on to our top 3 awards. We'll start off with my third Game of the Year award, which is Resident Evil 6. I'm probably alone on this, but I thought it was really fun. I did enjoy it. I do still play it every now and then when I have some time. I thought the storyline was pretty good. I do, as much as I like to see the survival horror aspect come of it, I do like the action-oriented gameplay. I think it does work well for it. Once again, people disagree with me on this a lot, but it was fun. I did like Mercenaries. There's just a lot to do in it, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It met all of my expectations. Anybody else on that?
I'd agree. It was actually one I was considering for one of my top 3, but didn't quite make the cut. But it is a very good game. Arguably, if you're willing to part from the survival horror element that was Resident Evil, I like it because of it's more action oriented, and I do enjoy that. They really improved on the movement system that was in Resident Evil 5, the partner system as well. And with online play, it just flows a lot better. It's a significant improvement on Resident Evil 5, and I do like it very much for that reason. And also, finally, thank God, the 4-player co-op. That was fun.
Yes.
So, good game.
Yeah, like I said, it was just a big improvement over 5. And like I said, it worked. Synyster, you have anything to say on that? Any disagreements, agreements?
Not really. It was a good game in itself. It improved over 5, so.
All right. So with that, we'll go to your number 3 game, Synyster.
My third game for my top 3 is Assassin's Creed 3. Game's good. It has, the usual Assassin's Creed style. A few new possibilities of using stuff in the game. The only letdown for me why it's my third is because the fact that I would run into little glitches where, like, if I wanted to jump somewhere, well, my guy was jumping somewhere else, and it's like, no, I wanted you to go that way, not down. Otherwise, it was still a good game in general.
That's always been an issue with Assassin's Creed games. It happened from 1 all the way up until Revelations. They usually try to refine the parkour system, the free run system as much as they can, and they really got it polished all the way up to Revelations. But with 3 comes a new type of terrain, running inside buildings, running along treetops, and I felt they kind of have to start over with that refining process, which made it seemed a little clunkier and heavier than we're used to with Ezio. Yeah. Moving on to Connor.
That was a good game. I would agree with that. I had more issues with it than that. It was nowhere near anywhere my top 3, or even I don't even think it would make my top 5. It was a good game, but I have a lot of issues with mostly characterization, story, and
You can pet the dogs.
Oh man, petting the dogs.
Best game ever. Come on.
And I also felt that the crafting system was a little pointless. But that's my opinion on Assassin's Creed.
You could tell they were going that way because they did it with the bombs in Revelations. I can only imagine that was the next step.
Impressions. What's your third best game?
Third place for me would be. It's not a game in itself. It's actually several expansion packs for Battlefield 3. Throughout the course of this past year, they released several expansion packs: Close Quarters, Armored Kill, Aftermath, and the other one. Those are the ones that were released this year. There is one released in 2011 and one more to be released next year. So I feel I'm in the correct category mentioning the ones that came out in 2012. I just think DICE did a really good job integrating new mechanics, new weapons, new vehicles, new maps into the gameplay Battlefield, the established gameplay of Battlefield 3, to keep it fresh, keep it new. And DICE is one of those companies I feel listens very well to their following and fan base. So I feel it deserves an honorable mention at third place. Well, it's not a game in itself. Definitely, altogether, I feel they constitute one game. So I place that at third place.
I'll give you it.
Yeah.
I do. I stopped playing Battlefield. I haven't played the expansions in a while, but I do kind of miss playing it a little bit. I did hear the expansions were really good, though. Synyster, did you play any of them?
Not yet.
Yeah, I think Synyster is more Call of Duty as opposed to Battlefield 3.
He's more
Yours?
Halo.
Oh, Halo. Okay, okay.
I'm Halo, Battlefield, then Call of Duty.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so with that, we now move on to the second place game of the year. For me, that is the Walking Dead adventure game from Telltale. The story was good. I thought the ending was phenomenal. All the characters were. I felt bad when some of them died, while others I was kind of glad died. But I had an emotional connection with some of these people, and I can't wait for season 2.
So it is set up that way, right, with seasons and
Yes.
episodes in each one? Okay.
Yes, I want to see what they do for season 2, because if it continues off season 1, oh my god, it's gonna be awesome. Because the ending for the ending for this one was so good.
Yeah, never played the game, so I don't know anything, and I've never watched the show, so.
All right,
Better
well,
than
then,
the show.
I will. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was going to ask then. The show itself. Obviously, I played the game for the review earlier this year. I only played so far though, but I know it. Is it parallel to the show, or is it like its own thing? Because I very much like the show. It's different from the comics.
I think they said it's parallel. It's kind of its own. It's a standalone story. Obviously, it has nothing to do with the original series, but does. I mean, Glenn shows up in the first episode, and there's a couple of characters from the characters.
Glenn, I know Herschel was there.
Yeah, there's a couple of characters that show up.
Okay.
But if you took them out, you would lose nothing.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of the whole point of Walking Dead, anyways. It's that no one is safe. They're all gonna die at some point, or your favorite dies, which is good because that game captured that particular element as far as the graphic novel and the TV show did as well.
Yes, no, the game is totally worth it. Like I said, I think it's better than the TV show, and I can't wait for season 2 of this game to come out whenever that does. I'm gonna be waiting a long time probably.
All right.
Synyster, go with your number 2.
My number 2 for top is Borderlands 2. I loved Borderlands 1. Borderlands 2 just made it even better because of the fact that, it's a shooter plus an RPG, and then you just have Handsome Jack. That just made the game for me, because the fact that every so often you have him chirping in on you and making some comment, and just the humor just made me laugh.
I agree. The humor in Borderlands 2 was so good. Handsome Jack is, if we had a favorite, the best character that ever was created, he's up there with the GLaDOS of best characters of all time. He's awesome.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll weigh in a little bit more. Spoiler, because that's later on my list. Borderlands 2, I do appreciate it. I do enjoy it a lot. Because of the shooter and RPG mixed elements. and yeah, I'll hold off on when I talk about it on my own.
Yeah. So, impressions.
For my second place game for 2012 would be actually a very recent discovery. I only played it 3 days ago. Would be Faster Than Light. Um, I had been hearing about it subtly. I keep hearing people reference it. I occasionally hear it mentioned in conversation with some of my other gamer buddies, and I never got around to picking it up until earlier this week. And what it is, if you don't know, it's you have a ship. You start with 3 people, all of whom you name and develop an immediate emotional attachment to because you name them, and you name your ship. And then you go on and try to cross a dangerous open galaxy, star system, or planet system, wherein resources are scarce, and you're forced to maintain your ship and manage all your crew members. And it becomes a very heart-wrenching experience whenever you fail an objective and lose a crew member. And I found myself starting over and over again just to make sure I could try to get it right and get my crew to survive through alive. And I really feel it deserves an honorable mention at second place for being able to convey that type of experience, especially when the game format is so simple, considering it's a 2D bird's eye view of the ship.
Would you say it's a 2D version of Oregon Trail?
I didn't think about it that way. No, that's probably why I have such an intense emotional connection to this game. Except you don't die of dysentery, you die of lasers and exposure to space and no oxygen.
Or being just boarded and killed by other races or humans that come on and be like, I'm going to blow your ship up from the inside.
Sure, okay.
So there you go. It's a sci-fi Oregon Trail.
Okay, then yeah, even better. I feel it deserves that slot.
It means I have to go play it because I haven't played Faster Than Light. But now that I know that, I did like Oregon Trail, so I have to try it out.
Downloadable on Steam. Try it out. We're very much worth the buy, or I don't know if it was free. I forget.
I think it's buy. It's cheap though, probably.
All
Steam. It's
Yeah,
Indian
like,
Steam.
Yeah, it's like $10 normally.
That's not bad. Maybe it'll be on sale for the while, so I'll pick it up. Anyway, so with that, we now go to the Game of the Year award. Our number one game. For me, it's a recent game. I rave about this game all the time. I demand everybody play this if you're into RPGs. And that is Persona 4, The Golden, for the Vita. It's a not quite a remake, not quite a remastering of Persona 4, but oh my god, it is good. I love it. I am playing it whenever I have the chance. Like, I'll be at school, I'll be secretly playing it. I'll be at work, and I'll sneak into a theater and start playing it. And I just can't put it down. It is so good. And I like Persona 4 was good, but this is so much of an improvement. They've added a lot of content, and I'm in love with it. This is probably the one game I'll fanboy out on ever.
Yeah, like you always do. Just hearing you talk about it, sometimes it's just like you just go on about it. It's like, okay, he loves the game.
That's because it is so freaking good.
Yeah, that's the whole point of gaming, right? To find one that you can fanboy about.
This is gonna make my world.
Yeah, I think I very briefly played, the Persona 4 on PlayStation 2. Me not being the biggest fan of RPGs.
Yes.
Obviously, it didn't stick, and I had no exposure to Persona 4 all the way up until Arena when we did our reviews. But if it's the same basic story concept, storyline, I can see why it would be a very good game to place at number one.
It's better than Arena storyline. It's not only just the storyline; it's just the gameplay. I mean, you have the dungeon crawling and the social sim kind of thing, and it's fun. It's just addicting. So there you go. There's my game, and like I said, I could rant about Persona 4 Golden for ages, but I'm not. So we'll go to Synyster next.
My top game is Halo 4. It's come from a line of games that have gone from being great in the beginning to okay, so the series might die to wait, what's going on? Wait, this game's amazing again?
Yeah, I'm hoping they can keep up with the momentum with Halo 4 because that is one of the better games this year. Definitely, in my opinion, the best first-person shooter to come out this year.
It keeps getting amazing because of the fact that they have a thing called Spartan Ops, which is a continuation of the story. and just the episodes they've come out with, it just like I keep having to remember to go back and watch them because it's like I was so it's like so pulling me back in.
I have limited experience with Halo. I do remember actually with Roy here. We played 3 together, and I was not aware that it was considered such a horrible game.
I said it was a horrible game when we played it. The multiplayer
Really?
was fun. Yeah, the story was crap. But the multiplayer was entertaining.
No,
But
but I thought the ending thing was actually the fun thing. Driving across that collapsing platform. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, but they do that in all of them. Is they always have
Yeah,
that drive-through destruction.
okay, all right. No, still, it was fun because especially when it's co-op. Again, that's another
Yeah,
feature. That's another feature I look at.
That's different.
It was me and another one of our buddies. We were playing, and we were just pulling off random shenanigans in the vehicles. I remember boarding one of those spider walkers with an ATV, just on a ramp. And it was just, I remember it being a lot more fun than the media made it out to me. But then again, now that's me and my limited experience with Halo.
Yeah, no, Halo 4 was a big improvement over 2 and 3. 2 and 3, like I said, I like the multiplayer aspect, but I thought the story was terrible.
Now, this is apart from Reach, right?
Yes.
Reach is a different thing, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like Reach either, but it was better than 2 and 3. Anyway, so now we move on to impressions. Game of the year.
Game of the year for me, I was holding off on commenting about it earlier, would be Borderlands 2. I was a huge fan of Borderlands 1. Specifically because as I've said over and over again, I'm not the biggest RPG fan. Because Borderlands 2 is an RPG. I refuse to see it that way because I don't notice the RPG element of it because it's so well hidden into the. Well, maybe not hidden. It's less apparent to me amidst all the shooting and frantic combat and humor that is Borderlands 1 and 2.
It's Handsome Jack. Just say
Handsome
Handsome
Jack.
Jack distractions
Handsome
from
Jack.
everything.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what? Handsome Jack. Why am I playing an RPG? Oh my god, Handsome Jack. I do appreciate the fact that it tied into the story of the first one. You're picking up where you left off with them, and yeah, really, it's just again. Oh, also the 4-player co-op. It's just so much. It's just fun with more people, especially when you try to play it all at the same pace, so that way, no one jumps ahead. We're all on the same page with each of the stories, and if you were not aware of this, the more people there are, the harder the villains are. So if you have like a badass mother effing thing, is harder when it's 4 people. Yeah.
Yeah, but you also get better rewards.
That too. Yeah, I don't think when you're not playing the slots.
Have either of you played the new DLC yet? Either of them?
I haven't even finished the main storyline. Like I said, we're pacing it out such that we, finish together. But we don't even have time for the DLC yet.
Yeah,
I did buy the season pass though, so I would recommend doing that if you're a huge fan of the series.
Yeah, I've just downloaded the DLC today. I was gonna start playing it, but like didn't get a chance to.
It's awesome. I played it over at a friend's house. It's awesome. It is just as good as the what's on the disc. It is so good.
Are they doing another zombie one?
I don't know. They haven't announced what their plans are for all of them. They just released the pirate one and the one that just came out a few weeks ago.
Doctor said, okay, yeah, that was also an excellent part of Borderlands 1. So hopefully they can carry that into 2.
Yeah. So there you have it. Our Game of the Year awards go to those games. And now we have a special award, which is the Rule of 3 Agrees on This Game 2012 award. This is the one game we all agree is good and that you should go play. After much debate over this...
And the gun pointed at my head.
Yes, and the gun pointed at Impression's head to agree or die. We give it to Halo 4. It is... Honestly, it's one of the few games all of us can say is good. Although, once again, there's a couple other games that, we could all say is good, but this is the one we all agree is probably the best out of the year that we all agree on.
It has more good going for it than, there's
Yeah, we all have our icks with Halo 4, but we all agree, it's good.
As far as the developmental standpoint, that's one reason I agreed to it. It's because it was taken over by a new company, a new not developer, new is it a developer? New developer?
Yeah, well,
343i.
Sort of.
Yeah, 343i, which is basically just a break off of Bungie that were like, we're taking this game back to make it for our fans.
Yeah, so that in mind, considering that they took it because of their love for the game and developed something that was actually that impressed a lot of hardcore Halo players like yourselves. So I respect that. I would hope if that ever happens to one of my favorite games, hopefully that they have a following as devoted as that. So yeah, I respect it.
Not hardcore. I just like it.
You can put the gun down.
Yep. You're free to go now. So there you go. That's our awards for this year. Thanks for listening. 2012 was a really good year for gaming. A lot of good games, a lot of terrible games, but on the whole, I think it was better than 2011. I was trying to think of 2011. There was only a few games I can remember in 2011, so that's not good.
There was a few, and now, hopefully,
2013 starts off with a bang.
Yeah.
2013 does start off with a bang. We got
March. March is such a huge year.
Yeah, March is such a huge month.
Or month. Well, yeah. Sorry, month.
Good job. This is what happens when we put the gun down. No, I mean we started off in January. I mean we started off with DMC. February we get Dead Space, Sly Cooper. I mean there's a ton of stuff coming out early next year.
Isn't March slated for Tomb Raider?
Yes, March is. That's gonna be good.
Yeah, if they pushed it back that far, it better be good.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's good. Otherwise, it's gonna be probably on the biggest disappointment list next year. But anyway, with that, thanks for listening once again. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates, and we will see you in the new year. Our first review will be the second week of January because nothing comes out until like January 8th, which is Anarchy Reigns from Platinum Games. We'll be doing that on, I think it's the 13th is when, I think that's the Friday it comes out. But we'll be doing that, and that'll be the first review of the new year.
Providing the world doesn't end.
Yes, providing the world doesn't end on is it the 22nd or 24th?
21.
Is it 21? Okay, I'm off on both days. So hopefully we'll be here with you. Although if you're listening to this video, obviously you made it through it, so we'll see. As long as it's not the 21st and not the 31st. But we'll see how we are during that time, if we're alive or not. Hopefully we do, because like I said, 2013 has a lot of good games coming out. All right. Thanks once again for listening, and take it easy, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everybody.